Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. I'm super duper excited to introduce Lori Hardacker. She is an author of the book called Dating What the Fuck. Yep, Dating What the Fuck. She's tuning in from Florida, and I'm really, really happy to have her here. Her Facebook is at facebook.com/dating is horrible, and her website is www.datingwhatthefuck.com. So, wow. I'm really, really excited to talk to you about this topic. But before we dive in, tell us about your book.
So the book was started after I lost my job last year due to COVID. And I started probably writing it or researching it in May of 2020. And finally, it's done and the website's done and it's all done. But I've been wanting to write a book about my dating escapades for many years because everyone always tells me how ridiculous the stories are and how funny I am. And I need to write it down. And I just kept, yeah. So, and then the title came to me, that those 4 words came to me in like 3 seconds. I was
Yeah,
like, what else other words do you need when you're talking about dating?
right.
So, and it's nonfiction, it's for men and women, and it is, I claim right at the beginning, it is not a self-help book. So
Okay,
don't even read it if you're looking for some help on dating. It's
got
just
it.
raw, real, no BS, real like statistics and stories. Yeah, there's enough self-help crap out there. Let's just have a little
Let's
fun.
just be real.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean, I don't know if all these self-help books are working considering, Match.com alone, I think as of 2020 had 9.9 million users. So
Wow,
I don't know how good the dating and relationship coaching is going, but I think we all need some help.
I agree with you. Couldn't agree less.
Right. So, yeah, so that's how it all came.
So it all came based on your own personal experiences.
Yeah, I'm 49, never married, no kids. My kids are a dog and a cat, and so I've had significant relationships, but I've pretty much been dating since I don't know, 21. I was kind of like a late bloomer, so 21, and I'm now 49. So that's a lot of freaking years.
Yeah, that is a lot of years. And so, but your book that you just wrote with Dating What the Fuck, is that talking about dating what the fuck in the last 20 years that you've been dating, or is that dating what the fuck during the pandemic?
No, just in general.
Just in general.
It's not pandemic based at all.
And does it include the pandemic?
Mm-mm.
So just dating being horrible overall.
Yes.
Oh my
I don't care
goodness.
if it's the pandemic or not the pandemic. It's all the same.
Yeah,
Just a shit show. That's what it
right.
is.
So
So
your book, you're actually talking about your shit show experiences.
mine, but there's also some statistics and some articles I got from different sources. And there's some singing in there because I went to school for dance and theater. So if a song comes into mind, like I'll put it in quotes and who sang it. And, you know, so it's kind of like a musical book, I guess.
And so you've been single for, you said, for 20 years?
Well, I started dating when I was like 21 and I'm now 49. So what are we looking at? Yeah, well, under 30 years, a little under 30 years.
What's the longest relationship you've had?
A little over 3 years. We lived together. Um, so that's it.
And as far as you feeling like dating what the fuck, what do you think, what goes through your head when you think what the fuck? Are you thinking um everybody's the same? Everybody just wants one thing? Or I mean, what goes through your head when you think that? Like, are
I
we all, yeah,
fucked up. No, I definitely don't think everybody wants the same thing. I think that's the problem. I think the number one problem is first of all, people don't even know what they want. They're not self-aware to know what they want or what they're ready
right,
for. That's one of the biggest problems. Okay. So once they know that, they're not aware on how to ask for it or get it or find the indications that that other person is ready for the same thing as well. So there's people like just be honest. If you're ready, if you want to just date to hook up, friend with benefits, let somebody know that.
hmm,
If you want to just date casually, let somebody know that. But a lot of people aren't even self-aware enough. Like I can't even tell you how many times when I have met somebody that I've been dating for about 10 months now, but I met him after I started writing this book. But if online dating, there's always an option, intentions, dating casually, nothing serious, just friends, dating to a relationship, marriage, blah, blah, blah. How many? Because I would strictly only look for men who were doing the more serious
Uh-huh.
routes.
Or who would quote unquote
Yes. Yeah,
say that's
that's
what they
it.
wanted.
Quote
Right.
unquote. Right. Yes.
Right.
And that's not what they want. And that's either because they're not self aware enough or they're full of shit and they think that's the way they're going to get somebody. Um, but people, that's the biggest problem. And people are totally disrespectful and not honest, more so today than ever.
You've had the opportunity, I'm assuming that you've had the opportunity to date both meeting people in person and through online.
Yeah. But I can tell you honestly,
Yes.
the last time I met somebody organically, maybe right after college, and I graduated college in 94. So the all of my significant relationships except the very first two I met online, I believe. And I've met them on Match, Plenty of Fish. Um, but it's so hard to meet people organically, I think, anymore.
Why do you think
Um,
that is?
well, I think everything is so internet based and internet dating is so easy and right at your fingertips. You can do it 24/7.
Almost like
So
shopping, huh?
it is just sit, like we are here, or I had to do my hair and makeup for today, but like, you don't even have to do that if you're sitting behind your laptop looking for
Right.
dates. And it's like a catalog. I mean, you could spend hours and hours. There's like 8,000 dating apps and websites out there. And
That's
there's people
wild.
who are on multiple ones.
That's
So
crazy.
I call dating like a man-made shallow pond where it's stocked every day and you cast your net or reel it out and you can just reel in or catch like 50, 60, 100 fish at the same time. Just toss them out, not really inspect them because you have so many to look at. And then sometimes it gets so overwhelming that you don't even know what to do.
I find it
So
interesting right now that you use a keyword man-made. What if there was a dating site, and I'm assuming there must be. I don't know of any, but what if there was a site or an app made by women? I
there
mean, would
is
it?
actually,
Yeah, and is that any different? I mean, what's the difference?
I believe Bumble, don't quote me on this, was designed by a woman, and a Bumble is where the woman has the control, where um I the woman has to initiate conversation first. Men can't reach out to them first. She only initiates the conversation. So she's like the queen bee,
I see.
queen bumblebee.
Uh-huh.
Um So that's one. Then it's not just that's one where kind of the woman takes the lead that I know of,
Uh-huh.
and that just went public and was sold for 14 million or $1 billion. I don't even know. Not sold, but went public, and it's worth
Yeah.
like 14 million or $1 billion. I can't remember which
Wow.
one. But Match.com as of 2020 was worth over $20 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, or was it million? I don't know. Actually, it's right in my book here. I don't even know. All I know is it's a shitload of money.
Yeah. It sounds like a business, for a big time business for sure.
It is.
And
Match.com was the very first site.
yeah, I remember that. Do you find that any of these dating sites are like, I have to tell you, I've also been single for 7 years. My mom is currently going through a divorce and she's single, and my brother is single.
Hmm.
Two of my friends are single. I'm around a lot of single people, and I can tell you that all of them try the dating sites off and on. It's like they'll try it for 3 months and then they're over it.
Yes,
And then
yes.
they're like, they need me time, and then they have me time for about 3 months, and then they get lonely, and then they go back on the
Yep.
dating sites. And I see that being a cycle. And me personally, being single for 7 years, I've only tried the dating sites twice, and it
Wow.
was, yeah, I couldn't handle it. And I've only give myself for like 2 days, and next thing I know, I've got women asking me for money, and I'm like, what? No, it's like, no, no, no. And I realized
Right.
this isn't what I want to do, so I just got rid of it, and I'm just leaving it up to the universe to,
The
I guess,
universe.
yeah, to
Yeah.
connect a certain way, because the way I see is the best you can do is work on yourself, keep loving yourself, and keep giving love and radiating love.
Right.
And with time, um that's what you're gonna get. How did you meet your current partner?
Online. I met him on like Plenty of Fish, which is like the free
Wow.
site that you don't go on. But let me
Right.
tell you, I don't care if you pay or don't pay. People are like, I will never go on a free site because only people that are serious are going to pay. And that's
I've heard
bullshit.
that.
It's bullshit. Don't listen to it.
It is
Just
bullshit
no.
because there's guys that will pay for sex. So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Do you know? I got a nice statistic for you. 60% of profiles are of people who are already in a relationship.
60%.
Yes.
I
And
gotta
one
write
in
this
10
down.
profiles are fake. All of this fun stuff is in my book.
Yeah, my mom just told me a story. She was talking to this guy and they were getting along great. And next thing you know, he's married, but he's polygamous. And yeah, my mom's like, no, and he's like, yeah, but she's okay with it. My mom's like, I'm not okay with it.
Why
You know,
didn't he tell her that up front, the asshole?
right. So my mom told him that. And he's just like, well, in my culture, this and this, and polygamy is okay. My mom's like, polygamy is not okay with me. So,
Oh my God, I would have like tore him a new butthole. I hope she laid into him.
I see, and my mom tells me that she's realizing that she doesn't really trust a lot of guys, and she feels that a lot of them are married. So now she's starting to ask right away. The first thing, are you married or are you single?
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
they
like,
could lie, so it doesn't matter.
right. So
Is she
I'm like,
meeting them online?
she's meeting them online. I mean, that's the way to do it right now during this
I know it's
pandemic.
like the only way to do it, even like when it's not the pandemic.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
unless you meet somebody. So, back in the day, people met people in high school, college. I mean, they still do at
How
work.
sweet.
That was more organic, or I don't know, but I just I don't know. But I am going to start a different dating site for relationship ready singles
That's
where these
wonderful.
people are going to be vetted. I'm not messing around. You need to show me your divorce papers. You're going to get a criminal background. I'm not playing.
Lori, I love the idea.
Good. You want to do it together?
I would love to. I would love to. I was actually thinking about that, and what made me think about that was that I joined this dating site that it was being publicized on Instagram, and it's called Mindful Dating. Something about mindful dating, and
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, how sweet is this? And the questions that they asked were very mindful, very feminine,
Yes.
like make you talk
Yes.
about your emotions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I was like, I really like this approach. Well, within a week, I met a lady, and I was like, okay, great. We're chatting, and then she asked me what I do, and I said, well, my podcast. Feel free to listen. And then afterwards, I said, how's your day going? And she responds by saying, my day was great until somebody was trying to pitch me or their sales line about me listening to their podcast. And then I was like, hold up a minute. She asked me what I do. And and then that made me realize, like, I don't understand what's going on here. This says it was mindful, and I'm being super mindful. I'm being very honest, and I get somebody with an attitude. So that made me really just delete it all. I was like, screw this mindful dating thing. This isn't working out. So I tend
So
to,
you do this full time? Do you do this full time?
yeah, I actually just started it in Spanish this in 2 weeks as well. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah, it's pretty
you do
busy.
podcasting full time.
Right now, yeah, and I also wrote a book. My book's coming
Wow.
out this summer, but this isn't about me. This is about you.
I
And
know,
I
but I want to hear all about you. You're so interesting.
thank you. Yes, we can chat. We can continue to chat after we're done with this. But I'm really interested in dating what the fuck, because that's exactly
Right.
where I'm at. I'm thinking dating
Yeah.
what the fuck. So
Right.
and then I also think it's really awesome and super duper organic how we met, because last week's podcast was about dating. And it just so happens that one of my homegirls was over, and she came to visit, and I wasn't feeling well from my second COVID vaccine, and she was like,
Oh,
let
okay.
me come over and make you, let's chat. So she came over and we're chatting, and she's like, and I'm like, tell me about your dating. What's going on? She's like, oh, fuck this. I met this guy, and he was being fake, and he starts ghosting me. I'm like, oh my goodness, why are there so many people ghosting people? And I don't know,
Yeah, it's
but then it
bullshit.
actually led me to realize, to remember that I kind of had those behaviors when I was in my 20s. I'm 41 now, but back when I was in my 20s, I ghosted people, but that
Mhm.
was because of a young mentality of, I don't owe people an explanation. But when you get older, you realize that
Right.
communication is key. You got to communicate with people. People have a heart. People have a soul. People have feelings. You got
Yeah,
to
but
at
people
least,
don't remember that.
people
People
don't
are so
remember their,
disrespectful. They're very disrespectful. Dating and sex have become very, very casual.
yeah.
People hide behind their damn phone. Like everything is text. I effing hate it. I'm sick of it. My full-time job, that's all we do is Skype chat, stupid texting, and then oh my God, and then it doesn't come off right, and there's miscommunication, and it's just like it's a pussy way out. I hate that word, but I'm gonna use it. So men grow a set of balls. Women get some boobs. What do you say about women when they tell them like they need to buck up? I don't know.
Grow
And
your,
like be an adult.
yes.
Get a
What
set of
is,
balls, get a set of tits, grow up, be an adult, be respectful, go get a life coach, get your shit together. If you have stuff in your life that's unresolved, you should not be dating. I'm sure you're smart enough to figure that out.
I
Like I
agree.
will not date somebody who's separated. No, that's not done. I don't care if you've been separated for 10 years. Get your shit finished. And fine. It's just not for me.
You know what? I really like this. So tell me, what are your I guess what are your guidelines for dating? Like after being single for 20 years and dating on and off and online and in person and organically, and I mean that's a really good chunk of time. What are your what's on your list?
Like my non-negotiables?
There you go. There you go.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you. Back when I was younger, it's interesting how things change. Back when I was younger, I was like, I definitely want to date a guy who has a college degree.
Hmm.
Now I could care less if they have a college degree. I mean, I have
Hmm.
one and I'm not even using it. But I have used it. Let me back that up. But anyways, I don't want somebody who cigarette smokes. I don't want somebody who's a pothead. I just want somebody, you know what? And I really, and sorry to Pete, my boyfriend, if he listens to this, I'm sure he will. I really didn't want to date somebody with kids.
Uh-huh.
Kids is fine as long as they were older, but he still has two teenagers at home, 15 and 17, and they wreak havoc on our relationship.
Yeah.
And his ex is, oh my God, I can't even think of a swear word that would be strong enough for her. But, anyways, she's an idiot, horrible
Uh-huh.
mother. None of her kids like her. None of this was really on my bucket list when it came to dating.
Right. Oh man.
But he has so many other great qualities. But just like a good job, loyal, supportive. Like Pete is the most supportive boyfriend I've ever had regarding all my businesses, and he's an entrepreneur. And one of the best things about him I've been never encountered before is we can have awkward conversations. Serious conversations that could be awkward or uncomfortable without him leaving the room or getting all pissy and yelling and this conversation's over and blah blah blah.
So that's
So
wonderful. So basically, he's got a really nice, balanced temperament that oversees the fact that he's got kids and all that stuff. If
well, his
you're,
temperament, he's a New Yorker, so he gets a little cray
okay.
cray sometimes.
I see.
But I'm a Bostonian, so I tell him to take a walk. I've literally said to him, go take a walk.
I'm sorry. Did you say Bostonian?
I'm a Bostonian and he's a New Yorker.
Oh, okay. I've
I'm
never heard
from
it that way because you're
Boston.
from Boston. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. We're a little edgy and
Okay.
pushy. So I've literally said to him, go take a walk. Like I've said that to him. Like, just my temper used to be much more like that, but through like life coaching and just trying to put things into perspective and realize what's important, I kind of know how to calm myself down.
So
Thank
what is
God.
important?
Just like I think so I have an aunt who this is how I can tell you I started putting things into perspective. I have an aunt, she's my mom's sister, and she was in her young 50s. She was like divorced, but making phenomenal money, living in Manhattan, coming and going, friends. And she had a major stroke and she almost passed away. And now she went from independent living, making fabulous money, to being in assisted living with limited use of the left side of her body. So
Oh, that's tough.
anytime, yeah, anytime. And then I also had a cousin, or my cousin's ex-wife recently passed away from a brain tumor, and she was in her young 50s. So I just try to think of those things, and like, people are dying, and I mean, you got to put things into perspective. Like,
Hmm.
really, what is important, and realize how blessed and grateful you need to feel and be. And it's all, I think, because of those two unfortunate things that have happened that have helped me
Hmm.
calm down a little and put things into perspective.
So basically, realizing that life is short and we don't know if we have today or tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you got to just basically figure out what's the real stuff. So,
Yeah.
but what are the things that you do choose versus things that you would not choose?
What do you mean I do choose?
So you choose a partner that's communicative, that can be balanced, somebody that listens to you, somebody that can talk to you.
Hmm.
What are other things that you look for in a partner?
Somebody, I think, I don't know if I necessarily agree with opposites attracting, because I go 100 miles an hour and I'm very outspoken, very extroverted, and
Yeah.
Pete is as well. I think I would run somebody over if they were an introvert and
Hmm.
quiet and was like a homebody. So definitely somebody who is outgoing. I definitely think I am more attracted or to entrepreneurs, because we
Hmm.
kind of have that risky, courageous side of us, and we're very driven. And I mean, I don't know enough about entrepreneurs, but I'm assuming you can't be too introverted to be an entrepreneur
Right,
unless
right.
somebody's doing all your frontline work for you and you're just sitting in the back. Um, so probably that.
And I
Um,
totally agree with you with the whole opposites attract not being the case. I read an article recently, and they did like a long year study on whether or not opposites attract, and it was actually 50-50. Like that was
huh.
the act. Yeah, there was a natural balance. Some people say yes, and people say no, and it really depends on the individual. What about zodiac signs? Do you ever look at that stuff? Like, hey, what's your sign? Let's see if we're
Yes.
compatible.
I do not know if my boyfriend and I are compatible, but I do know I am my sign.
Uh-huh.
Somebody, because my fish, I'm a Pisces, they swim in opposite directions, so it's almost like they're in constant conflict, which is me. Like I had learned these different types of personalities, and they were like listed out in a square, and there was like a driver on one part square and an amiable on the other bottom square. So like they were opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And a driver and an amiable usually do not get along very well, but I am both of those. So I'm a clusterfuck. So basically that means like I'm very sensitive about things, but I want something done, I'm going to do it. But if like I put my passion into something and then somebody says something negative about a project or something, I take it to heart.
Uh-huh.
So I have a life coach, and he's like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you cannot take things people say about your business or your book or whatever to heart.
No, you can't.
You can't. If you get
Everyone's gonna
criticized,
have their own opinion because everybody's got
yes,
their own individual experiences in life.
yeah, yeah. So, but it's hard because I am super sensitive, very affectionate, very loving, but I'm also a driver, and I'll tell you to fuck off at the same time. So it's like a disaster.
You know, I
But
noticed
I'm my
too.
sign.
I noticed too that some of the dating sites will ask you to take a personality test.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
Oh, I
Does
think
that
it's
take away
great.
from it being more organic?
I think the personality test is great. I sat down with one guy, two guys. I have two stories. I sat down with one guy once. We met at a bar, and he literally said to me, and I can remember it. I don't necessarily remember. I remember the restaurant. This was so long ago. I don't really remember much about him, but I remember him saying, I don't think I can handle your personality. And I was like,
He said
okay,
he said it straight up.
yeah, which is great. Right. And
That
then I
is,
didn't,
I think that is
yeah,
great. And what did the date end, or did you continue to hang out with ease after that?
I I don't know. I mean, I can sit and talk to anybody. So, and then I
Uh-huh.
had another guy who said to me, "You're not domestic enough for me."
Wow.
Okay, well, go make
Uh-huh.
your own fucking meal. Like, I'm not gonna be, this isn't the 50s. What the hell? I hate cooking, cleaning. Like, I got stuff to do. I got
Yeah.
dreams and goals. I don't want to
Uh-huh.
be cooking your meals and doing your laundry 7 days a week.
But what do you
So,
do in a date like that? And do you end the date right away, or do you continue the date?
I think it would be a good idea to just end the date. Why waste your time?
Mm-hmm.
I think if people, this is the whole problem too, is that, and I hear this all the time because I belong to a lot of single Facebook groups when I was doing like Zoom seminars and trying to promote my book and doing like singles trivia and stuff. Everyone always complains. I've been talking to this guy for weeks or this woman for weeks. The conversation's great. And then I never hear another peep from them ever again.
The
Or
ghosting thing.
yeah, or we had a great couple dates and then they never hear anything.
I hear that
It's
all the
just
time as well.
it's stupid. So
Hmm.
just like if you're not interested, then just say you're not interested. And that can be very awkward, but don't leave somebody hanging. Don't be disrespectful. And that's going to be another thing that I do with my website is at the end of the first date, you have to literally face to face tell each other what you want next out of it.
I like that.
I am ready. I would like to see you again. And if it is uncomfortable for the other person, then just do it. You got to start like acting like adults. Be respectful. Dating is just so disrespectful. It's just so casual. Like people don't care about each other's feelings, or they have too much of their own shit going on and they can't get out of their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, man, I sound like a scorned woman.
Well, you know what? I mean, honestly, this is the same story I hear from everybody that's single. And I feel like what needs to change for people to just be more communicative? I don't
Right. They're
it's
afraid to
challenging.
be.
I totally agree. It's just it's rude to not to leave somebody hanging. I don't understand what goes through their head or how hard it is to even drop a sentence and be like, I'm sorry, it's not gonna work out, or
Right.
something so simple. Just say it. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't
it is
yeah.
hard and awkward, but I mean, I can understand, but I don't even know. I can though I can honestly say if I've had 2 or 3 great dates with the guy, there is no way I would ghost him because I don't know about everybody else out there,
Yeah.
but to have 2 or 3 great dates with the guy is like finding a needle in 15 haystacks. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
happen a lot when you're internet dating. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or to
Right.
have like now the other thing I do not think you should do, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, is when you're talking to people like emailing or texting, do not wait long before you meet them in person. I have had so many phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
conversations like on the phone or communicating via text or email, and then when you meet in person, it's dead. There's no chemistry. You're like, who the hell was I talking to?
Mm-hmm.
So I would not spend 2, 3, 4, 6 months just communicating without meeting in person. I just wouldn't. I think it's a waste of time unless
That's a
it's
good
somebody,
pointer. That's
yeah,
a really
unless
good
you're
pointer.
overseas. Yeah, I think
What's
it's a
another
waste.
what's another good pointer?
I don't
So
care if you're a
I'm
man
writing
or a
this down,
woman.
Lori. I'm
Okay,
writing
I'll
these
be your,
pointers down.
Lino, I'm
Don't
going to
wait
be
too
your
long
life
to meet.
coach. I'm going to be your life coach.
You're gonna be my life love coach, because
I will be. I should be. I don't care if you're a woman or a man, somebody should always know where you are at. I don't care if you're 21 or 61.
what do you mean by that? Someone should know where you're at. You mean
Like
like,
I'm
hi, I'm going to the
49.
airport, or I'm going to Disneyland? What do you mean by that?
No, like I'm 40, 49. I'm not out dating anymore, but when anytime I had an internet date, my mom or dad would know his first name, last name,
I
phone
see
number,
what you're
and where
saying.
I was going to
Yeah.
go. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. And another thing you should never do is
You're
if
talking about for safety reasons, it's
yes,
best to tell
safety.
somebody, a good friend of
Yeah.
yours, hey, I'm going on a date just to be safe. This is where I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. I
Yeah,
like
this
that.
is where I'm gonna go. This is the name and phone number of the other person. And if you're like, oh, I'm too cool to do that, especially women, you're
Yeah.
stupid if you don't do it.
Oh yeah, right?
I don't care
Yeah.
how
No, no,
old you
no.
are, 21 or 71, somebody should know who you are. And also,
Hmm.
and it's a lot of this is in my book too, but if somebody you ask somebody to meet in person and they keep
Hmm.
putting you off, no, 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 you better run the other way. Don't waste another minute of your time. And
I agree.
pictures, when they're pictures, I called a guy out, it's in my book too. On
Hmm.
his website, his pictures, he looked like his pictures were from like present till 10 years ago. So I called him out
Hmm.
on it. Ooh, that whole conversation is hysterical and it's in the book. Verbatim. And I comment on his lack of grammar skills and spelling skills. It is literally taken out of the text and put into the book because he was pissed that I
Uh-huh.
said, you look different in your photos. Like I was
Yeah.
done. And
Hmm.
he's like, well, you look different in your photos. And I said, they're all within 6 months. And he's like, well, I don't even know. But I laid into him and I said, you know what, buddy? Thank you. You just gave me some stuff for my book. I'll put it in there. Thank you very much.
So if we were to give advice to people right now that are online dating or just dating in general, we can some of the things we could tell them is don't wait too long to meet.
Correct.
Make sure their picture's current. Make sure
Hmm.
you tell people where you're going when you do go out. What else
Yes.
is a good pointer?
I think before you even get on a dating site, you need to be self aware and check in with yourself to make sure you truly know what you want. Are you
Uh-huh.
claiming you want a relationship, but you just want to get laid?
Uh-huh.
You just, you know what I mean? But, or you know what? You need to know who you are. Be smart enough. Like, are you recently divorced? You should not be online dating.
Uh-huh. And what's considered recently divorced?
Well, see, now it's hard because, okay, so say you meet somebody who's divorced, right? And there's two different scenarios. You could
Mm-hmm.
meet somebody who is divorced with an ex and kids, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
divorced 10 years, right? So two
Yeah.
people, both divorced for 10 years with an ex and kids. Person A, great relationship with the ex, no issues with the kids, right?
Right.
Nothing. Person B, horrible relationship with the ex, constant issues with the ex, constant issues with the kid. Who do you think is more ready to date?
Wow. It seems like they're both not ready to date.
Well, the first one would be right. He has no issues with the ex, great relationship with the ex. He's been divorced 10 years, and the kids are just kids.
Oh, 10 years. I didn't hear that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right? Or even
Yeah, for
5 years.
sure.
You could have two different people with an ex and two kids in two different, totally different situations, depending on the relationship with the ex and the issues with the kids.
Right.
So you got to check in with yourself. Like when I told my boyfriend about this internet dating site I'm starting and the questions I'm going to ask and the vetting I'm going to do, he's like, I wouldn't be accepted to be a member, would I? I said, no, you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. And why
And he
wouldn't
knows
he?
that.
Because he hasn't
Because
been
his,
single long enough?
no, because his ex is a shit show. His kids have issues left and right, and it seeps into our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have gotten that all sorted out. And there have been multiple times that we've almost broken up because of it.
So
So
you
we've,
so what would be a more I mean, I guess how would you even ask those questions online? How long have you been divorced for? Are you
yeah,
seeking therapy? Are your kids seeking therapy? Do your
yeah,
kids
you
get
could
good
ask
grades? Are
that.
they responsible? I mean, are you asking all those questions? Would you
I
be willing to ask those
haven't.
questions?
I haven't, but that's what I'm gonna do when I do my internet dating site.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
that sounds,
yeah,
yeah, like these are the people that are for real deal looking for a partner. And you're looking for a partner, meaning somebody you want to marry, or just somebody that's serious and knows who they are.
serious. Like their shit's in order. I don't care. Like their shit's in order. Like you could be miserable as all hell with your job and it makes you miserable 7 days a week. You are not ready to be in a relationship because that's gonna seep into your relationship.
That makes sense. So not
Yeah.
necessarily asking questions only about the relationship, but also asking questions about their life in general and to
Yeah.
see how mentally whether or not they're ready to handle a loving relationship. That makes sense because if they're stressed out about work, it's going to carry on to the
or
relationship.
money or
Right.
money or people have self-confidence issues. That's, you know, everybody has baggage. I understand that. I mean, I
Yes.
have plenty of my own baggage. Like I do life therapy, like I take some medication for anxiety. Like I am nowhere near perfect,
Hmm.
but I'm an anomaly. You and I are do you have kids?
I don't have kids. I have two cats. They're my furry kids.
Yeah, I have one dog and one cat. So you and I are an anomaly. We're in our 40s, never married, no kids. So I
Right.
always say baggage. There's carry-on baggage and there's check-in baggage. Our baggage is just carry-on. You and I.
Right. I
Some
like
people
that.
have
Carry on
carry-on,
versus check-in baggage.
check-in. Yeah, people have all different types of baggage.
That's great. I really like that. What
Yeah,
kind of
it's
baggage do you have? Is it carry on or is it a check-in
oh, I
baggage?
just have carry-on. Like I'm very
Right.
independent. I'm a go-getter. I'm a very hard worker. I'm not I have my personality is a little bit wonky though because I get bored easily and I love challenge and change.
Yeah.
So I had a home and I sold it in 3 days and I bought an RV, sold everything in my house, packed up my dog and two cats, bought an RV you drive, towed a car, and I traveled around the US by myself working full time for 3 years.
Wow, that sounds like quite
So,
an adventure.
yeah, and I'm very impulsive, which is not always good.
Uh-huh.
Because I get agitated with people's bullshit. I get agitated when you work for companies that you give them everything possible and it's still never enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've had these sales jobs where I've excelled and done crazy sales and hit records and won trips. And then the next year, it's just never enough. Like it's always, what more can you give me? What more can you give me?
That's corporate. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's in life too, in
True.
general, I think.
Right.
So then I get agitated and I'm like, screw you, and I'll go try something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even if it's a stable job with health insurance and financially I'm nowhere where I should be at the age of 49, but
Mm-hmm.
regarding things that I'm doing, like I could have never traveled the US by myself with kids. I
Right.
probably could never have written this book with kids.
Uh-huh.
unless they were older. And I've lived in a lot of places and I've done a lot of cool things and I'm still pursuing my dreams and, with my full-time job, and I have the t-shirt line and a greeting card line and the books. I wouldn't be able to do all that if I had other stuff like a husband or kids.
True. That is true.
Yeah, and everyone has a different path. I've never been the girl that's like dreamt of my wedding, or I want, the husband, the two kids, the house, and the white picket fence and the dog. That has never been me. I am an
Mhm.
anomaly, I guess, in that way.
So
You hear
but
women
do you
saying
ever
that.
want to get married?
Sometimes I think yes, and then I'll spend like a weekend with my boyfriend and I'm like, "Oh, hell no."
Uh-huh.
Meaning I love him, but it's just like the
Yeah.
24/7. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like I like my space. Um but we wouldn't live together anyways while he has his kids until those boys are out, which if they ever are. But I don't know. And maybe it's cuz I just want, that one day to be about me with the wedding dress, and that's not the reason to get married.
No,
So
absolutely not. No.
so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just a commitment, maybe like engaged, and that's it. I don't
So
know.
being engaged is more committed than, I guess I never really understand that when people just get engaged and stay engaged for years and years and years and years. I'm
Right.
just like, I don't really get that. I mean,
I
just
guess
being in
it
a
doesn't
relationship.
really matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. I guess
Yeah.
it's what everybody's comfortable with. Everybody, but that's
Yeah.
another thing you need to communicate about.
Uh-huh.
Are you looking for marriage? And if they say, okay, so women and men,
But that's really difficult because I find that a lot of men, mostly men, will lie and say yes just to get some.
well, that's just stupid and
It
rude,
is.
and
It
you're an
is.
asshole, not
Yeah.
you, the men. Because
Yeah.
women, and don't be afraid to ask these questions. And like, if a guy says, or if a woman says, and you say to them, well, I would like, marriage is something I still want to do in my future. Do you want to get married? And if they say no and you want to, then that's it. It's no. Don't think I hope to change them. I hope to change them. I hope to change them, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, no, no. You can't change people.
No.
Things
Listen to
can
me.
change, but you can't change genuinely who people are.
No, my mom always said that. Never go into a relationship hoping to change somebody. They've been married 51 years, my parents.
Wow. Yeah, my
Yeah.
parents were married 48, and my dad left my mom for a younger girl.
Oh no, that's so cliche.
Isn't it? After 48 years of marriage, it
Your
was really,
poor mom.
I know, honestly, you know what though? It's a blessing in disguise because my mom is happier now than she ever was
Okay,
before.
that's good then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Oh no.
So
Oh
I that's
no.
one thing I've learned. Like if once a cheater, always a cheater. So I've
Yeah.
learned that in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, my outlook towards dating's already horrible. Imagine if my parents were divorced. I mean, how much more horrible could I hate? Much more could I
Yeah, it's interesting. I told my
hate?
mother that I was giving myself a deadline to be married by 45, and my mom said, "You want to get married?"
Yeah, you should
She's
not
very
give yourself a deadline. They always say
no,
God
that's a
God
rule.
laughs when you make a plan.
Okay,
God God laughs when you make a plan.
you know what? I like that. I guess I'll take that plan out of there.
I think, you know what? I have two vision boards. And if you want to get married, put that on there. But right now, I just try to take it day by day, because especially with my boyfriend and his kids, because if I think to the future and my potential with him, it's very unknown because of these kids. It'd be a lot
Yeah.
different if he didn't. So, and plus, I try to stay busy. I don't even know where I want to live. Like, see, I've lived in Florida now. It'll be 2 years in July. And I'm like, okay, what's next?
Hmm.
Where do I want to go next? I'm dying to get back into my RV. I don't have it anymore, but I'm dying to buy one. There's so much to do and see in the US. I miss living in campgrounds because campground people are so cool and so nice. And I'm a disaster. I don't even know. I want this, that, and the other thing.
I think we all feel that way from time to time.
Yeah.
That's the human life. So,
Right.
wow, thank you so much, Lori Hardaker. This has been an amazing interview. I really
Thank
look forward to
you.
getting your book, Dating What the Fuck, everybody. That's the name of her book.
Yeah.
www.datingwhatthefuck.com. Just remember the awesome advice that Lori gave. Make sure that when you're starting to date, that their pictures, the people that you meet online, their pictures are recent pictures. Make
You
sure you
could
don't
always
wait too
Zoom.
long.
Yeah,
What's that?
maybe Zoom with
Yeah,
them.
maybe zoom them up. And also make sure you tell people where you're going when you date, when you're going on a date, because you can't be trusting everybody. You cannot. There's very, very dangerous world out there.
Hmm.
And let's see, what was another thing that you said? Make sure they're not recently divorced, because that could be a red flag. People, you really do need to work on yourself. I really totally agree with Lori there, because when you're recently divorced, you really haven't been single. You haven't had time to work on yourself. And it's really crucial to work on your soul. Do some soul searching, because that's where the authentic good stuff is at.
Hmm.
And be self-aware, truly know what you want. And when you truly know what you want, then that's what you're going to get. Because if you don't, then
Mm.
you're going to be getting anything, and that's not good either.
Right.
Also, don't ghost people. Ghosting is rude. If you start a conversation, keep talking. If you don't want to talk to them anymore, just be like, hey, it was nice chatting with you, gotta go, sorry, I don't feel we're compatible. Just leave it as that.
Right. Just grow the hell up.
Yeah, grow the hell up. Anything else you want to tell Lori about dating, or any advice, or just anything else that you want to throw out there?
I don't know. Read the book if you're just looking for a laugh. I say put on your PJs, grab a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, maybe some wine, a margarita, and just read. It's just for men and women to have a laugh. If you're sick of like the self help and just want a good fun read, do it. Oh, I also have a great line of singles t-shirts too that coincide with the book that you'll find on the website.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. And what do you say we do an interview in about 6 months and see where we're at
Yeah,
with
I
this
would
whole
love
dating thing?
that. And see if people want to call in and give you questions to ask me once you do it.
Oh,
That would
that
be
would be
cool.
wonderful. Everybody stay
Yeah.
tuned. Next time we're gonna have people calling in. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Little Less Fear podcast. This has been a pleasure. This has been an honor, and I look forward to hearing people's reactions to it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.